Welcome, everyone. Happy Wednesday. I'm like, what day is it? Okay, it's Wednesday. It is so fun to see all of you, some new faces, some old faces, and everyone in between. We have a wonderful mix of St. Louis and Denver people. So it'll be wonderful for you guys to start connecting. For those of you who attend a lot of our programming, you know we have two goals. Goal one, for you to meet someone new and to build a community in our amazing community. And goal two is to learn something new, which I'm sure you all will because Mari's incredible. All right, go Mari.
Thank you. And Stacy, if you could make me the host again, that would be great.
Yeah.
So, welcome everybody. I'm so glad you're here. And I'm guessing you can just put your hand up. How many people have some confusion or frustration around video, right? That's why you're here. So, we're going to try to make this easier, but it's a huge topic. So, please remember that Beth is here, I'm here. We've got other members of the RISE community that are here, so this isn't a one and done. We can get you some support. But I want to start out by asking you to think about if you were writing a children's story and somebody had a magic wand and they were waving that magic wand around, but they didn't know how to use it. What might happen? How might you tell that story, right? You could tell that story as, well, I'm waving the magic wand and nothing is happening, or you would probably tell that story as, I waved the magic wand and the wrong things happen, right? Think about your video. Is that similar to what's happening with video for you? I'm guessing that people have issues, and you can throw in the chat if this sounds familiar, of working too hard at video, being afraid to do video, not knowing where to share your video, not knowing why nobody is looking at your video after you did it, feeling awkward and weird on video, not knowing what kind of content, right? Anybody not have any of those issues? Anybody's got this down? So what we want to do is really relook at that of, you may not have a magic wand, but you do have a magic wand. You have a pen, right? So I want you all grab your pen, because that's going to be your magic wand today, because we need to create a strategy and a focus before we start just saying, I'm going to do video. I know you've all heard those statistics about video creates this much more conversion or that much more traffic, or there's a gajillion of them, and I'm not going to repeat them because I know you've heard them. But what happens is we take it out of context. We say, oh, video converts 300 times better on a landing page, so I'll do a video. No, wait a minute, it's a landing page. What does a landing page do? How am I using that video? That's where we're getting stuck. So we're going to play with that a little bit today. And we're going to start with that by talking about Anna. And Anna has some problems. So Anna is a leadership consultant that works with tech firms, and she works with C-level executives, giving them the brain science behind the people skills so that they can get better at managing their teams. She wants to grow her business through video, but she's got a donkey problem, a painting problem, and a blender problem. And what we are going to do is we are going to talk about Anna's problems and what to do about it. So we're going to do an activity. I am going to break you up into rooms, and you're going to be in one of 3 rooms. And in each of those rooms, you are going to either be working on the donkey problem, the painting problem, or the blender problem. But I'm not going to tell you what the problem is. I want us to play and network and connect a little bit to start off with. So the first person in the room will be the facilitator. It's just your job to try and keep people aware of time and give everyone a chance to speak. The last person in the room is going to be the reporter, and it's your job to just give the gist of what your group talked about. And in your group, I want you to go around the room, and I want each person to say, what do they think the definition of that problem is? If it's the donkey problem, what does a donkey problem mean? And what do you think Anna should do to solve it? There are no right answers. This is just an opportunity to have a little fun with this. So before we go to that, are there any questions about what we're doing?
So just to recap, the first person who is in does what, and the last person who is in does what?
The first person is the facilitator. So all they're doing is looking at the time. You've got 5 minutes, and they're just trying to make sure we're on 5 minutes and that everyone gets a chance to talk instead of one person taking up the whole 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
The last person is just going to do the gist. There is no right answer. There is no way to do this right. I've set you up so you can't do it right. So no criticism of yourself or others, just play.
And try
Everyone
to
want to
decide,
play? You ready?
just try to decide what it means to be a donkey problem or the other problems.
What is a problem? So how would you define a donkey problem? How would you define a painting problem? How would you define a blender problem? And then what do you think Anna should do about that problem? Just make it up.
This should
All
be
right.
fun.
Everybody ready? Here we go. Did you have some fun with that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So for the first group, who was so the group that Beth was in, who was your reporter for that group?
It was Dana, but we thought we were group 3.
So you thought you were group 3? You thought you were the blender people?
That's right. So we really dug into that.
All right. So Dana, what's the blender? Tell us what you thought, what your group came up with.
We thought that we might have had a couple different problems. One of them is the blender problem could be that we have too many different focus areas. There's too much noise going on, and we don't have the right equipment, or our equipment's broke.
Hey.
That could be for making videos or margaritas.
I was going to say, the important thing we want to add is that it was for margaritas as well. We thought we had a real problem, a margarita problem.
I think margaritas are a necessary element of this, so you're right on track. Okay, who is another reporter who hasn't gone yet?
I can go.
Yeah.
So we had the painting problem, and
Yeah.
we just created various different stories to explain her painting problem, but not relative to video. So I can just run through what we said. Some of them were like she doesn't like the paint color in her office at home, and so she managed that by going on Facebook and asking people their opinions. I think one of us said that the painting problem had to do with it was a technical support issue, so we went to the experts. A lot of our answers for fixing painting problems were Google it or go to social media.
Right.
We did one that, she was creating a painting herself, but didn't like how it turned out. So the solution is paint over it.
I love that. And that's so true for video, right? Go ask everybody their opinion and then keep redoing it and not like what you get. Isn't that so much what people are doing? Good. And who was our final reporter? Yes.
So we just jumped in our group. We were the donkeys, and we thought there might be possibly a third issue. One was that there was a lot of noise. Could be one element because donkeys can be a bit noisy, that there was some stubbornness going on. And then my contribution was that she works with a bunch of asses. But anyway, so we really just focused on the noise and stubborn part. And the noise part was that just she doesn't have a good environment in which to record video, that there's either just environmental noise, be it visual or otherwise, or that she just she's not feeling comfortable. And then from a stubbornness, that what is the content going out is not driving the results, and that and that she continues to repeat doing that just out of kind of a stubbornness and not able to sort of get out of her own situation there.
I think that's absolutely, you all came up with some great stuff. So now I want to break down what I meant by these problems and how we can create a video strategy that's going to help you with that. So the first one, the donkey problem, yeah, we get really stubborn for sure, but it's, I'm sure you've heard the phrase, the straw that broke the camel's back. How many of you, when it comes to video, it's just one more thing? And if you try to do one more thing, you're going to explode because you're not getting the results you need. So a lot of times what people are doing is they're creating more and more videos, and people are even saying, go live on Facebook every day, and all these kinds of things where they're just trying to create more and more, or they're trying to get more and more tech, and they're always trying to buy the new gadget. And it's the straw that broke the camel's back. You're just piling on without getting anywhere, right? So then you've got the painting problem. And I know some of you will relate to this. I think Stacy even mentioned this yesterday, where it's like you're talking to paintings. It's like you're going to the art gallery and you're saying your message to a bunch of paintings. You're not getting any response. They're just looking back at you totally still going, nothing is happening. So that is another problem we've got, where we're doing the work, but we're not getting the results at all. And then the blender problem, besides needing margaritas, which I know now I need one this afternoon because you all teed me up for that. The blender problem is you don't know what content to create, so you're trying to create everything in one video, right? So you just randomly, oh, I should do a video about this, or I should do a video about that, or I'm going to create one video and it's going to be everything. And then people are telling me I should do short videos, but when I tried to do it, it was an hour long. What do I do, right? So I want to get you out of Anna's problems, right? So what I want to talk about today is I want you to get over the idea of looking at video as an outreach game for now, and think of it as an incoming game for now. Now, there are a lot of ways you can use video to outreach and to get more audience and all that kind of thing. Most of us have a conversion problem before we have a traffic problem. And what I mean by that is if 500 or 5,000 or 5 million people come to your website, but nobody buys and nobody emails you and nobody asks you to do anything for them, it's completely useless. Right? We need to get people in the game. So we want to first focus on what videos are going to create conversion. Then we want to go ahead and do the outreach. And you can create a portfolio. So I really believe that all of the ladies here, either with Lucy Garrity's help or with Beth's help or with their cell phone, can create 7 to 12 videos. That if you intentionally create those videos and you intentionally place those videos over time, those are going to increase your conversion. So you're not creating a video every week. 7 to 12 strategic videos. So that's what we want to talk about. So I'm going to go through explaining some of those. And I put in the chat a link to a worksheet that you can just download. You don't even have to give me an email or do anything like that, so that we can talk about really what are those videos. And I'm going to go through your portfolio. Just a second. I'm having too many things open, too many screens open, and I'm losing my mind.
No wonder we get along. That's exactly the story of my life.
So there we go. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen so you can see. And in the chat, you can go get that worksheet if you want. I want you to think about these 5 videos. Each of them have a different use, different length, different way of being, right? So the first one is your invitation video. I don't know how many of you are Harry Potter fans, but this is the owl video, right? This is the owl who shows up and says you're invited to Hogwarts. I can't tell you, I stalked some of you before we did this. I can't tell you how many of you don't have a short little video for me to get a sense of who you are if I don't know who you are. You're dumping me into deep content. So you want to create a short, it's usually a minute-long video. And you're going to put this, it could be 30 seconds. Shorter is harder, folks. But you're going to put this on your homepage and your website. You could have this as a link in your email signature. So you have a link to YouTube or your website or wherever it lives, and it can come in your email signature. You can use it a pinned post in social media. There are lots of places you can do this short, little, benefit-driven, right? So it's not process-driven. Think about Harry Potter getting his owl. He didn't get, here's the history of Hogwarts. He got, you're accepted to Hogwarts. Please come have this opportunity. Your life is going to change. So it's benefit-driven, right?
So can I pause you real quick, Mari?
Yeah.
How cool would it be to practice, Beth, don't make fun of me. How cool would it be to practice this and post it on Rise Digital before you put it on, you know, your website or whatever? So I couldn't help it, but I just wanted to say, because Beth,
I was absolutely going there, Stacy.
sorry, I got over.
I'd like you to practice a lot of these. But
Rise
yes,
Digital's great.
What'd you say, Beth?
Rise Digital is great. Stacy loves Rise Digital. I'm now a hype man for Rise Digital as well.
She makes fun of me because I say it way too many times. But anyway, keep going, Mari. I apologize.
Absolutely. So you want to create that short video. And here's the other thing about your video portfolio that people are making the mistake of. They're throwing a video out once. How many of you have thrown a video out and then been like, well, why doesn't the world love me? You need to be reusing that video. So you create this little video and you're going to share it again and again, even in emails to prospects, even on directory listings, anywhere you can find to put this one short little video up. So that's your first video. But then just because I've been invited to have this great opportunity doesn't mean that I, as the consumer, yet understand you, trust you, feel good about you. And this is, again, where a lot of times people are trying to get into the selling content or trying to get into their expert content without doing the other piece of, especially in this day and age, and I think anybody who's paid attention in the last 3 weeks will get this. We need to understand that there's a vision and values match between who you are, the work you do, and the values we hold as consumers. And that doesn't mean you need to go to the edge of a political or social statement if you're not ready to go there. But it does mean that I am not going to click through to hire you and to learn more about hiring you until I have some sense that you're in alignment with my vision and values, that I trust you in some way. So back to Anna, who does her consulting for these tech CEOs. They may think that it's great that she knows all the brain science behind how to manage people, but they need to know that she's going to get their culture and their viewpoint, and that they can relate. So this is what I often call the ripple effect of video. Think about if your work is dropping a rock in a pond and those ripples go out, what is the impact you want to have in the world? So you do a short, it's 2 to 3 minutes typically. Sometimes it's longer if you have a complex idea. Talking not about who you are and what you do, but talking about why you do it. I'm sure people have heard of Simon Sinek. So, Stacy, tell me, what is RISE theory?
Oh, don't do that to me. Well, if we're going with like what we do or why, you know, like the why, I'm kind of nerdy.
I'm sorry, what is SHINE theory?
Shine theory. I was like, oh God, you want me to sum up RISE and talk about our why? You know, shine theory is this idea of I don't shine if you don't shine. So at RISE, that's one of our core values, and we really believe that it's important to shine a light on all the amazing women in our community and help to lift everyone up, and recognize the fabulous things they're up to.
So there you go, Stacy. You said, oh my God, you want to talk about RISE? I can't do that. But you can. Because when you talk about shine video or shine theory.
Yeah, shine theory.
When you talk about shine theory, that is about RISE. Mm-hmm. And that as the consumer is going to make me much more interested in all the things you do, all the offers you've got, right?
So a follow-up question, Mari, to this in case someone's listening. So when I hear that and you ask me specifically about shine theory, which is one of our core values, is this a video that where you're talking about your core values?
You're talking about one core value.
Okay.
You don't go the whole thing. That's too much, right? You got 3 minutes. Don't have a blender problem. You don't want a blender problem. But what you say is, at Rise, we believe in shine theory, and that's behind everything we do. And we want to wake up in a world where women have these kinds of experiences all the time. We want women to feel confident. We want women to feel empowered. We want women to have the social capital they need to crush it in business. And that's why we created Rise. That short little thing, do you see how that gets your heart going?
I did. I'm like, thank goodness we're recording this. I'm going to steal this.
This is what this video is about, the ripple effect video. I swear to God, and I have the numbers and I share it in a different presentation, so they're not handy, but I've worked with a lot of therapists and consultants where the only video I could get them to do was this video, the why video or the ripple effect video, and it significantly increased their conversions, the dollars they were making. In one case, I think she increased her dollars per click through of people who became clients by 5 times with one 3-minute video. People stayed longer, they bought more services, they were more enrolled, which is what you want, right? So you got that video. Then, and I'm going to talk about these together, you get the affinity and authority videos, and these are the ones where people get really confused. Has anybody out there, you can unmute yourself and tell me if you've experienced this, has anybody out there heard the Brussels sprout theory about using video? It's a big thing with online gurus right now. Okay, so the Brussels sprout theory is there's a bunch of people out there who are saying you want engagement on your social media, so do a short video asking people whether they like Brussels sprouts or not. And the concept is, oh, this will get people to realize you're fun and you're human and that'll create connection and all that kind of thing. And they sometimes call these affinity videos. That's not exactly what you want to do. It makes you look like a wannabe instead of somebody who's really solid. Conversely, have you ever seen anybody who does these videos where they just dump information at you? How many of you have on your YouTube channel somewhere an hour and a half or a 90-minute webinar that you did that you just repurposed up on YouTube because somebody said to do that? You don't really want to, you can do that as an archive, but as part of your portfolio, what you want is 5 to 8 minute video where people get a sense of, I have an affinity not just with you, but with the people you work with. She understands people like me. Oh, I'm an overworked woman professional who is tired of working in my kitchen, who wishes I had some other high-level connections. Stacy is talking to those people, and look, Liz and the other Stacy are like me. Oh, okay, I get it. I have some affinity there, right? So this is in the period of the client's journey to wanting to work with you, where they've gone from getting the owl of, oh, I know you exist, to maybe I do want to go to Hogwarts. I should figure out what the heck this thing is, where they're looking at it a little bit more deeply. And as part of that, we don't just want to know about you. We want to know about who you work with and make sure that, again, we feel comfortable. By the way, this is also a mistake people do with testimonials. They'll get video testimonials of people saying she's great. That's not as useful as, here's the kind of problem I went to her for, and she helped me with it. So that I can go, oh, I've got a similar problem, or I don't have a similar problem, but if you can help her with that problem, my problem's easier, so you can probably help me with my problem, right? But you want to balance affinity with authority. Charisma is a combination of warmth and strength. It's not one or the other. So for those of you who are financial planners, I always have this with financial planners. They want to dump too much information, and people are just like, I'm bored, overwhelmed, and can't remember half of what you said. It's too much, right? So you've got to have some affinity with the authority. But then I also know people, this is true sometimes for life coaches, of I love you and I can help you and I'm all about the heart-centered connection, and there's nothing about what they do. So you want some 5 to 8 minute videos that really go into authority. Sometimes I call it the Mary Poppins video, because it's like you have your carpet bag and you pull out something and go, see, this works. It's tips, it's tricks, it's ideas that people can use. And then you want to have the affinities. And you can post these a lot. Now here's something. How many of you have ever thought about your video strategy connected to your email strategy for your regular, not building your email list, but your regular emails that go out during a day of business? Are you connecting those?
Not yet.
So I'm asking you, when somebody calls up and they want to be a prospect, right? Or they send you an email saying, interested in what you do, throw in your ripple effect video plus one of your authority videos as attachments. Let them get a little bit more sense of what you're doing. Include these things in welcome packets, onboarding, all that kind of thing. You can also put this kind of video behind a paywall or not a paywall, but behind a gateway so that you can build your email list. I know you've seen a million of them, right? Where you give your email and you get something in return, right? That's not new to anyone, I'm sure. So I'm putting a link in the chat for where you can go get one of mine that is going to help you with something very specific. It's going to help you with the how do I look better on video thing that you're all wondering about, right? So you can do that as another place to share your video, so you're building your email list. And then the final kind of email video you can be creating is clearing the hurdle videos. What do you think the biggest reason people don't hire you is? Unmute yourself and call out some descriptions of why are people not hiring you?
Cost.
Cost. What else?
Don't know who I am.
Don't know who you are. So Julie, not knowing who, what do they want to know when they know more about who you are?
I think they want to know what I can do for them.
Okay. So what
I just don't have a ton of visibility.
Questions about what is their fear about what they could or couldn't do for you? You could or couldn't.
Sorry, my dogs are barking.
Let's go to somebody else. What about Kelly with yoga? So Kelly, a lot of people, there's a lot of yoga studios. And so what would be a reason that they sometimes say they don't come to you, but maybe go to a different one, but they should choose you because you're fabulous?
On it, maybe like the variety of classes, the variety of schedules. I'm a smaller studio, so I can't offer that kind of like huge selection that some people might be able to offer.
No, those are good. Mari, what would you say to that?
So I think all of these, not knowing who I am, not knowing what somebody does for me, oh, I'm a small studio, I don't have that huge schedule. That's where you do a hurdle clearing video, or helping them get over that hurdle by giving them more information about that, right? Yes, I don't do all of these classes, but here's why really focusing in one type of yoga is actually going to be beneficial to your growth, right? Or cost, here's what's involved in that. Now I talk about this in terms of getting over legitimate objections, because sometimes there people are like, well, I don't want to pay for that. You're like, well, if you don't want to pay, you don't want to pay. But do you not want to pay because you don't see the long-term value of it? Then I can say, wait a minute, let's show you what this is going to do in terms of cost savings or in terms of new opportunity or whatever. So really thinking through, if you go through, I promise you, if you just take 20 minutes, go through your emails from the last 90 days from prospects, you're going to figure out, it happens for every business. There are 5 or 6 objections people have. They word them differently, but everybody has, here's the things people get stuck with, right? So my number one is, but Mari, I'm ugly. Well, no, you're not. I mean, I'm the ultimate ugly introvert, so if I can do it, you can do it. But that doesn't mean it's not a legitimate concern. So one of my videos is that I do a video talking about the fact that I'm an introvert, talking about how I made this really ugly video where I made $5,000 off that video in terms of new business within a week, even though I was having an attitude meltdown when I did it and only did it sort of to poke at a friend. And when people see, oh, there's her ugly video, wow, that is ugly, and it worked, they either opt in or opt out, right? They may say, no, thank you. But they may say, oh, yeah, okay, if she can do it, I can do it. Same thing with cost. But for designers, for example, interior designers, there's always a slump period. There's always a period where the project doesn't go as fast as I thought it was. My kitchen is still torn up. Can you do a video about, here's what happens when we have delays, here's how we'll be there for you, versus how fast it'll be? Also, it depends. So how many of you have had a client ask you a question, usually around cost or time length or whatever, and your answer is, it depends? You're cutting certainty down, and when you cut certainty down, you cut sales down. It depends on what? Can you give me an example? Well, it depends on your goals. Here's somebody with this goal, here's somebody with that goal, and here's how we did it. Or it depends on your time length or your budget or your problem or whatever. Let me give you examples. That's the kind of stuff you can do on video, and it's really important because we are shy and we are overwhelmed and we don't want to talk anymore. Even though it's COVID and we're all saying we're not getting enough social interaction, in that little game you played, y'all kept mentioning noise. There's too much noise out there. If I don't already know you, getting on, quote, a discovery call with you to learn more about what you do, ooh, that sounds hard. If I can do some of this on video beforehand, that gets way easier. So I want to do some brainstorming about Anna and then take some questions. Actually, let's take the questions first and then we'll do some brainstorming about Anna. Anybody got any questions about what we talked about so far about this video portfolio?
So I have one little question.
Yes, Becky.
Oh, okay, I'm unmuted. So basically what I'm understanding is you have your like welcome video, your ripple effect video, here's where you explain like your mission and who you are. And then all the other videos the answering people's questions and things are all separate videos. And so I guess my question was, of the things that you mentioned, the ripple effect video is just a basic mission statement and who you are, and everything else is separate?
All of these videos, all 5 kinds of videos are separate.
Okay.
So the introduction is a 1-minute video, just here's the opportunity.
Okay.
Come check it out. The ripple effect video, 3-minute video, it's its own thing.
Oh, okay.
The
Ripple is
authority
different
video,
from
or
introduction.
The affinity video, here's an affinity video, here's an authority video. Now those two sometimes are mixed in a longer video, if you're like doing a long Facebook Live or you're doing a webinar or something, but they can easily be separate videos. And then those objection videos, you might have 5 or 6 for different objections.
Got it.
So we're creating a sort of a body of work. And often on YouTube or even on Facebook, you can create a playlist of all of these videos. So somebody who wants to go a deep dive can go in. But now you can share these videos in different places depending on the type and the use. Does that make sense?
And Mari, can you go over that a little bit? Because those 5 videos sound awesome. And you've mentioned email and you've mentioned website. But I know some people have asked about like Facebook versus Instagram versus, LinkedIn, and all the things.
So I would say it's not the platform, it's the type. So for example, your opportunity video and your ripple effect or your why video, Those can be pinned posts on most video platforms. So they can be on your YouTube. They can be pinned on the top of your Facebook page. You might want to have a pinned post with just a little, here's who I am and what I do. Your page, not your profile. I don't think you can pin on a profile. You can have, if you can get them really short instead of a minute, if you can get your opportunity down to 30 seconds, you can have that on Instagram. LinkedIn, you can do this, but LinkedIn, you can also easily use those authority and affinity videos as both articles and as posts. Now, the difference on LinkedIn is an article will stay around forever. It's useful for search, but you don't get a lot of people just clicking on it. A post, video needs to be under 10 minutes. You're going to get more people seeing that. So on the second page of your worksheet, there is a breakdown of some of the ways that you can, some of the places you can share each of these types of videos. So make sure you grab that.
Will you put it, Mari, will you put the link in Bryce Digital after this so everyone can click on that?
Absolutely. So you can also share these in email newsletters. We know that a newsletter that has video in the title gets way more click-throughs than they don't. That's where you're going to share affinity and authority videos on email newsletters typically. You can have them on the FAQ section of your website. That's where you're going to do more of the certainty videos. You can have them on a landing page or a sales page. That's often where you would do sometimes a combination of that introduction video plus some FAQ videos. So there's a lot of different places you can share it. What I want you to think about is what is the function of this video? And based on the function of this video, where in the sales cycle does a client need to see it? Some of these they maybe don't need to see until they've given you an email address or signed up for a webinar or sent you an email or visited a website. Others of them are going to be better on social media where you're reaching out and interrupting them with whatever they're doing. Does that answer that question?
It does. And we had a question on here. Wendy asked a question. Are there benefits to using Vimeo over YouTube?
Big question, yes, Ann. Vimeo allows you to have that extra control of your video and allows you to have better quality, often in the serving of the video. What YouTube is, and what people are not thinking about when they're thinking about YouTube is a search engine. I want you to think about YouTube not as a place to host your videos, but as a search engine. So if I didn't get my owl coming to my house, I go to YouTube looking for where are the owls, right? Or I go to YouTube to solve a problem. So there's a split in YouTube. Sometimes we have short, fun, either introduction to who you are videos or entertainment videos on YouTube. Sometimes we have deep dive, here's how you solve a problem, authority videos on YouTube. But it's searching. Vimeo is, I'm using that as a platform to host videos that I want to have control of the look and the quality and who sees it and what have you. But I'm still having to go out there and give that video, plant those seeds in other places. Does that make sense? Does that answer the question?
It does for me, Wendy. Hopefully we got your question answered. I want to make sure other questions. And then I also know that Becky, you had a question.
I think she answered it. I think you answered it, Mari.
Good. Good. We have 5 minutes. So I just want to, Mari, whatever you have to wrap up, and then I'll need a minute or two to wrap up. So whatever you'd like to do in these next 3 or 4
Okay.
minutes. We could talk about this all day. Let's not kid ourselves.
I want somebody to answer the question, which video should our anxious Amy make first to get over her problems?
The intro.
Okay. So I think she needs to make the intro video. I also think she needs to make her ripple effect video, right? If that's all she did, she would have ways to warm up people that were coming into her world. What mistakes does Amy not want to make in her intro video and her ripple effect video?
Information.
Too much information? So I'm going to give you two other ideas. Think about the hook, not the look. There are too many beautiful people in the world. You can go online and you can find all the beautiful people you want. That's why porn sites exist. So quit thinking about how you look and start thinking about what's the hook. You don't reel in a fish if the hook isn't set. Why do people want to see your video? Now, you want to do things to make it look professional, but you want to first answer the question of what's the hook? What's in it for them? Not, I want to get myself out there. Nobody cares, but what's in it for them, right? And my next thought is think about sound and don't look down, right? So you want to be professional. The sound quality is the most important part of your video, and it is usually the last piece anybody pays any attention to. So if you have to use your cell phone headphones as a microphone, do. They actually have better quality than you might imagine. Or get yourself a microphone, or go to someone like Beth and have it done well. But get your sound so it's not echoey, it's not buzzy, and we can hear you. A lot of videos, when I was stalking people, they recorded them too quiet and I couldn't hear them. Think about the sound. And then I've done this whole thing looking in the camera, but I want you to notice what happens when I start looking like this. If I did my presentation like this, how engaged would I seem to you? Right? It's weird, but you want to look into the lens. So Amy needs to make her 2 videos. She needs to think about the hook, not the look, and the sound, not looking down, and get going. Okay. All right. Anything else? I see there was a lot going on in chat, but I often miss
I've been
stuff like
watching it.
that.
I've been watching it for you, Mari. I got you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, Susie.
Yeah, go
Okay,
ahead.
so I have my iPhone and I also have a Ring Central account. So I have 2 different ways that I could make videos, and I want to put a video on my website. Does it matter which one I use?
Which account you use to put the video on your website?
No, I think she's asking like, so Ring Central, I assume, can video, and her iPhone can video. And so if I'm understanding the question, it's like, which one's going to make a better impression? Is that correct?
Right, or can I use either one of them? Or either of them?
Yeah, I think you're just going to have to look at the quality and see. I don't think it really matters once it gets embedded on your website. Usually the cell phone is just the easiest, and cell phones have very good quality cameras in them if you know how to use them.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. Well,
Now, download
segue.
that report so that you know the basic stuff like getting far enough away from the camera and all that kind of stuff. Now, what I'm going to recommend to you all, and this wasn't set up, Beth doesn't know I'm going to do this, but what I'm going to recommend you do is I'm going to recommend you make 5 videos out of your portfolio here on your cell phone by yourself in a weekend. Just do it. Then I'm going to recommend you go to Beth and have her help you take that up a notch, because your message and your presentation, you got to get the stink out first. Just do. The first 9 videos you create are going to stink no matter what. Get over it. But then I don't want you to waste your entire life trying to figure out tech, because it can get confusing.
Yeah.
Hire someone.
Yes, and we have great people in the community. Beth is amazing. Tree 9 is amazing. I'm sure we have others. We have an amazing community of people who can support you. And Mari, you are amazing. I mean, this content, again, we could be going on and on for hours on end, but just to honor everyone's time, Mari is going to put her worksheet in Rise Digital. Let's continue the conversation. Hop on over there and ask your questions. Mari can continue to answer those. So, if you're here today, you obviously have gotten on Rise Digital, so let's use it and really optimize it. So hop over there, ask any unfinished questions. Mari will be able to answer those. And thank you. It's wonderful to see all you guys. I hope you had a great Wednesday, and you make me so happy. So thank you for coming.